Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I wanted to share something, to show you something that I've got done today, which was a hard problem for me for a long time. So at some point, a couple of years ago, I wanted to go DAW-less. And I started with getting a Digitakt. This is a Digitakt II. And also the S1, Roland S-1, which is a very, very nice virtual analog synthesizer. And I also have an iPad, and I also have an SSL, which is an audio interface. And the problem that I ran into, and the problem that blocked me for a very long time, was how do I make these all devices work together? Because what I want to do, I want to be able to play on the iPad or on the S1, and I want to be able to sample them into the Digitakt. But also, I wanted to connect the S1 to the headphones and be able to hear the Digitakt coming through, and while playing on the S1, being able to get the mix through the S1. So also, I didn't want to use any MIDI cables or any audio cables, because this is very cumbersome setup, a lot of cables, very expensive, and also very impractical. Setting this up all the time is a huge problem. So this was blocking me for a while. Now I work as a software engineer, and recently we all got the Claude code right here. So I had a couple of free days recently, and I really wanted to improve my workflow, and I thought, okay, like maybe I can ask Claude to help me here, and it helped, and this is an amazing thing, and I'm going to show you now that I was able to create. Everybody knows, like, in theory, how it works. You need to go set up the whole thing on the Mac. You need to create this aggregate device, which is a lot of work, and trying to pull the Ableton, which I don't want to use because I want to be DAW-less. So even that is not going to help me, because how I'm supposed to say that the Digitakt should also be heard through the S1, and at the same time the S1 should be heard through the Digitakt, and then both of them mixed together should be heard on the SSL. And maybe I also want to hear the iPad, but the iPad has only one single USB-C slot, so I cannot connect the headphones. But now also here I have a second set of the headphones on the SSL, and there's a dedicated knob which would route channel number 3 and 4 into a separate mix, into the headphones too. So how can I shift this routing? Because this is kind of like a matrix level routing. It's not like I need to aggregate and push the output or mix into a single device. No, I want to kind of like go from here to here, from here to here, from here to there, all this kind of things. So it turns out that within 1 hour of Claude code, it's possible to wipe code this kind of mixer. And what is most important is that it's a command line mixer with a JSON configuration. And what is great about Claude Code here is that it can now write these JSON configurations for me. I can save those configurations into a file, and I can get this whole thing going. For the first time, this particular setup, I'm going to ask Claude to write the JSON configuration for me, and then I'm going to press one button, and all this setup will be working the way I described it. Okay, so now the fun part is that this tool uses the configuration like this. This is a whole vibe coded thing, but the good thing here is that the Claude itself can use the tool to look up the devices and to write this configuration for me. So certainly I did not write this manually. And with this configuration, I already started the command line mixer. So now I have the full setup running. I have 5 devices in this working together in this mixer. I have the S1, the Digitakt, the iPad, the wireless microphone, which I'm talking to right now, and the SSL interface here. And I have defined 4 buses. The bus is like similar to a mix, but it's partial, and this is something that is going to go to some of the devices. So for example, there is a bus that outputs to Digitakt. There is a bus that outputs to the S1. There is a bus that outputs the iPad only onto the channel 3 and 4 of the SSL. And then there is a mix bus, the main one. And this part is the metric. So this part is saying that from S1 to Digitakt, from iPad to Digitakt, from Digitakt to S1, from iPad to S1. So both the Digitakt and the S1 would be able to hear and monitor the other 2 instruments. And then we also send the iPad to this isolated monitoring. And also we send all 4 of them into the mix. And here we have the gains for these mixes. And it's hard to believe, but it's all working now. So now here I can have the full mix. I can hear the sound coming from all devices together in this mix, including myself through the microphone. And then if I press this one, I'm going to switch the headphones, which I'm wearing right now, to only hearing on the inputs 3 and 4, channels 3 and 4, which are the iPad. So now I only hear the iPad and I don't hear all the other instruments. Right. So now I wanted to say something about the group jamming situation. So the thing that this is solving is that I want to have maybe up to 5 people playing together on all of these devices. And I need to be able to set them all with the headphones. So I want the person number 1 to go and use the S1 and get the headphones connected to the S1 and hear what is coming through from the other devices. There is a headphone jack on the Digitakt, obviously. So another person who is jamming on the Digitakt, they are going to hear themselves through the headphones on the Digitakt, and they will get the mix of the other instruments. And then maybe on the SSL, I'm going to have the keyboard player and the guitar player, or maybe a singer and a guitar player. And we have 2 sets of the headphones here. Maybe we could use one of them to monitor iPad or to make the mix that includes the iPad with other things. And this is like a dedicated headphone setup for the iPad. And the other one is going to be a singer or a guitar player. Guys, I maybe will put this code up to the GitHub. There is nothing valuable. Anybody can do it with 1 hour of Claude code. So I'm not sure if it even makes sense to put it up. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something useful out of this. Bye-bye.